Hello everyone, welcome to the ninth episode of the Plight of Princes. The current plight of a current prince, well, not quite a prince, more a himbo, but we love him, of loyalty, having been more or less put in the naughty corner and stripped of his warlock powers from his previous patron Titania for not abiding by her needlessly demanding requests. He has gone in the searches, kind of shocking as I realize it now, honey. You have been made redundant in one job, and now you have to look for further work, both IRL and in game.
Yikes.
I am sorry, but don't worry. I'm getting you a great person to work with. She's terrific. She's terrific. You love her.
She's perfect, darling. You'll get on with her swimming.
Oh my god, Loyalty literally went to a friend and said, "Could you give me a good reference?" And Kiko was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll buff you up real good."
Pretty much.
Layers. There's layers to everything. So, how does one become a servant to the Archfey, the Lady in Red? Well, you must learn the name of the Fey. To call on them by their true name, having earned their true name through understanding and figuring it out yourself, is how you unlock the right. It gets their attention, and then the deal can be made. Because they could just make the deal, but if they're making deals with anyone and just let anyone have the power, where's the fun in that? So, they had previously engaged with what seems to be a portion of history. A small period of time in which a young girl in white, was fleeing, chased by a huntress, wolves, and fucking quicklings. End of the campaign will be nothing but quicklings just coming at you.
No.
You'll never see them coming, they're too fast.
The quickest TPK.
They're fast as fuck, boy! So.
No.
Kind of stop myself. Sidetrack. So, having defeated these enemies and seemingly collected everything they could, and having made a guess, an attempt at what the name of, and there is a Johnson just waving fanatically. Yeah. Entirely zooming. Having made an attempt at the guessing of the name, the scene changed from one part of the plague to the other, and they found themselves in a beautiful, large, white. I'm really now being thrown off by the fact there's Coke been provided for someone and I want it. How dare you?
It's fine, it's Pepsi.
Oh, I still want it.
Other beverages are available.
As demonstrated.
Pepsi. So, they find themselves in a ballroom where they're seeing many different entities, some of which are recognizable. Almost like a variant of the Erinyes. They can see different creatures which, on a different hue or a different scale, could be seen as demons, but angels of love, angels of guardianship, angels of pride. They can also see Fae strewn about this massive ball, each one dressed in their own unique manner. Some have Grecian-like robes, togas over the sides with beautiful gold metals carved into the design of flowers on their head. Others have far more extravagant but what we would call recognizable designs. There are a plethora of air or elemental based entities as well, wearing garb that would match any ethnicity you can think of in the world. This would seem like it's another point in history, and the music had just gone to a quiet. As you look around, you see that there was a dance that was in the middle that had just ended between a tall, very beautiful, onyx-skinned humanoid male with snake-like eyes, and a woman in an outfit that was still pure white. And this is the scene you find yourselves in, but we are going into the realm of theater of the mind. So, what's everyone doing?
Lo is going to try and move his way through the crowd to
Shimmy and Shammy your way up?
Yeah, but in the sort of, excuse me, come, sorry, nice frock. Okay,
What
nice
you're learning
suit.
very quickly as you're trying to like get through, you realize you have an issue. This is not the kind of area you can walk through. You've got to dance through it.
Right. Sorry.
As one primordial tabaxi is being shoved in front of a air genocide, they're just going, and it's like, where?
Because they're on a tower, don't be mean.
It's just the fact of, I'm here now, the legs splayed. I'm here now. Okay.
Cats aside.
Okay, so I will say that Lo will attempt to do that then.
Dance your way to the center?
Not dance the way to the center, more dance his way through the crowd so that he's slightly closer, almost like within earshot.
Okay. Well, you're still gonna have to make a performance check to get in there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be on the edge of the crowd like the loner that I am. just like, nah, I'm good. I don't feel like dancing today.
I was literally going to be like, I go to the nearest wall.
Yeah.
How many people in this group have anxiety? We do.
I'm gonna go sit on the bleachers.
How many people here have anxiety? Yes.
Yes.
Are we so are we still in our normal like get-up, or is our clothing
You're
like,
still in your
changed?
normal getup, but it doesn't seem to have been noticed for the sake of... What's the best way to say it? It's not been noticed for the sake of someone sticking up their nose to you. Much like the previous scene, it doesn't seem like you're in it yet.
Are we not technically corporeal? Is that the kind of thing?
That will be a way to be said, but... Oh, by the way, with that detect magic, by the way, make a constitution saving throw.
Oh dear God.
Oh.
I was going to say, is Kika just going to go blind? It's like, ah!
Oh my
How
god.
much magic is here? Okay, Constitution.
How much magic is here? Yes!
Yes. I have a headache.
I don't feel so good.
I have a headache.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this dice over here as evidence for later.
Oh, lovely. I do have
Oh, dear.
Warcaster. I don't know if that matters because that gives you advantage on.
No,
gives
that'll
you
be
advantage on
concentration.
constitution things.
Well, concentration checks.
Yeah.
But, well, the spell ends immediately, and it's the equivalent of... It's the instantaneous equivalent of flicking on a light in the room, and there's every single horror villain in the world just turns their head to you. You turn the light off, and it's just red eyes looking back at you. You are... Actually, you know what? I'm going to roll it for you.
Great, if she wasn't nervous enough in a crowd, now this happens.
You're stunned for the next 5 minutes.
Cool. Kika like just curls into a ball and is just on the floor.
No, Kika just tries to perform that magic, and there's this moment where you're just frozen in place.
With stunned or paralyzed or?
That's a great question, Kay. You haven't a fucking clue. She's just stopped moving.
I'm just gonna like wave my hand in front of them, like, hello?
In front of the people or in front of Kika?
In front of Kika, like in front of the eyes. See if there's
The
any
eyes don't
response.
track. The eyes do not track.
I think the bird, like,
You can tell she's breathing.
I'm just gonna just like can I try and just lift her up and like move her to the
She's
side?
very easy to lift, but
Yeah.
it's
I am
literally like you're
small.
lifting. It's literally like you were lifting a mannequin. Just
I'm just gonna just pick them up and just move them over to the corner over the side.
He's
right next
holding-
to the other
he's holding
statue.
a candle.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like shuffle them out of the way and just be like, sorry.
Just right next to
Sorry.
right next to Wittick, and as you're there, there's just Posey hiding behind both of them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna apologise to the crowd as well, being like, sorry.
As you guys are looking at Kika, you turn back and you can see Loyalty is already dancing his way through the crowd. There's like times where you're just pivoting and there's like the hand twirl over the head with one person before it's a low bow, straight back up into the next person who's split off from another partner, dancing your way through. You're making good progress towards the center, and there you can see the individual in the onyx skin with the lady in white having a very close to each other conversation.
I'm going to cast Protection from Good and Evil on myself, and then make my way over to where Lo is and try and stick close to Lo.
Make a performance check. You've got to dance your way through the crowd, sir.
I'll do the spell first. Just okay. Does it use spell
Smart.
slot here or?
Yes, here it will.
Excuse me,
You
Mr. DM.
Yes, Mr. Paladin.
I am very observant.
You are very observant. I am very aware of your observations.
Are they speaking
that
any
feeling
languages
well.
I know?
What languages do you know?
Common, Giant, Primordial, and Gnomish.
No.
Okay. Figured I'd ask.
Fair point to ask. Fair point to ask, sir. Unless you cast the tongue spell real quick.
I don't have that.
Exactly. Love you, buddy. Thank you for checking in, because it's a fair point. Because there might be one or two people who would be talking.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, those two are going. Oh, they're going over to their listen. Oh well, I can see what they're talking about right now. Like, but all right.
Oh, and a fair point to make. Wittick, you would know this because you are quite observant. As you are looking around the room, you can see that there's the entranceway. It is like if you were to take all the mythos of the world and all the legends and every hero and have all their weapons array in a line at the entrance. It is akin to that. Ornate warhammers, giant clubs, the actual like pestle of a mortar, these giant hammers, swords, spears, great designed, beautiful, gorgeous weapons, some that look like almost like the Holy Grail from Indiana Jones in regards to something so simple and so small, but you can just tell there's a radiation power from it, and then other large, loud weapons with great ornate designs. You would know it as well, Wittick. The hammer Zolto uses is there.
That's
You would know it from when you were freed from the control of Imric. But nobody here is a giant. Nothing stands colossal over any other. But at the same time, most people here probably aren't using their true shape. So sorry, did you make a performance check, Renara? You did! You're not a swift dancer. And there are moments where you are more or less lifted and pivoted yourself by someone and just turned and flipped. But you quickly put your heels down to the ground to turn to the next person and spin on them, and you're about like a minute or two behind him, but you're catching up to Loyalty. And Loyalty, what are you doing?
Lo is trying to strain his ears. Well, basically, I don't know what's the equivalent of. No. I'm not thinking of that. Keeping on top of the water but dancing. The equivalent of that. He's sort of keeping the dance sort of
I know
going,
what you mean.
but it's like
treading
treading water.
But yes, I get you. Okay.
But at the same time, he's sort of leaning to one side, but trying to keep the dance at the same time.
Okay. Well, fun fact: you do understand what they're saying because you've gotten closer, and they're speaking Infernal. That's why I was like, he better list that off, because if this motherfucker's got Infernal, I'm gonna be so upset. So, they are talking, and it's very hush word. You're only able to make out like 2 or 3 as you go, like of each sentence. Because they're talk quiet in a loud space. I promised I would help you, and I will. We have a deal. I will honor that deal. You help me, I help you. Whichever comes first, but we will overthrow them. And as they're quietly talking, and it seems like they're about to continue more or move away, there is a loud, rambunctious clatter. As you can just see across from them to the far side of you guys, you can just see an enormous table with almost a menagerie of different creatures on buffet and different drinks. There are liquids here that should not be of a color that is. Some are just like a pure prismatic light, just like almost as if it itself is like a light bulb, and every single droplet is a light bulb giving off light. There are some that are just so dark that it's quite literally like the magnet kind of black that kind of absorbs light. There's liquids that's probably blood. There's liquids that are probably oils, other things, as well as wines, ales, sweet scented things, honeys and foods laid out. If there is something in existence that can eat, it can probably eat what's here. And you can just see this figure entirely made of clockwork, compartments and pieces, like each portion of the neck moves perfectly, better than a human body would, and a normal design. Just every portion of them clicking as they twist, as they are stepped back from having a massive stain poured across their personage. And there, having just bumped into them, is a loud, large, rambunctious genie with this very thin, kind of bluish white beard. And the outfit is this gorgeous, ornate design of just golden buttons and silver, like, studs all the way down the suit, like almost like it's stretched over to tie on and down, with these large, wide, baggy pants on. And he is giving 1,000 and 1,000 apologies to this individual, who just looks at what's going on onto their chest, and just from their knuckles, just steam just erupts, and they just steam off, quite literally, everything that had stained onto them. Whilst you cannot understand what they're saying from the distance, it's quite obvious from the body language that one feels like they offended the other and is trying to apologize. As this is happening, the lady in white gives a low bow to the figure that she's been talking to, and it seems like a new dancing is beginning to happen. And Lo and Runara, you're in the middle of this, so you have a choice. Either dance together or get thrown in with the others. If you dance together, you have a better chance. You can give one of you advantage on staying close to listen in on what's going on with the lady in white. Or do your own separate dances. Choice is yours.
I'm not trying to listen in. I'm just trying to stay close enough to Lo in case some shit goes down.
Okay, so will you dance with them, or will you stay back?
I won't approach Lo, but if Lo comes over to dance with me, then I'll dance.
It's more of a thing if you guys realize people are pairing up quickly, and you can like look around and see that, you know, in the last dance, there were people who started in the north side of the room that made it all the way to the south in about 3 minutes. So you can get tossed around really quickly.
I'll do the polite thing and
Low-
wait for the asked to dance.
You stand at the corner, King, and just like await someone to dance with you. And you are in a decent regalia style. So I'll explain what's happening to King and then go back to you two. King,
One
there
question
is
before we carry on. If there was all the weapons from all the myths and all that sort of thing on the wall.
Mhm.
Does that have like Yami's dual deck and the noisy cricket? And...
Oh, wow.
Right leg of the forbidden one.
No, but there is a massive, essentially what looks like a pillar that has been ripped out of its points, but is now like this beautiful long red staff that's been laid up there.
Speaking of weapons as well, is Durin's mace that I would recognise up there the one that he got from White Wall? If I remember whatever that, you know the one
The
I'm talking about, right?
axe.
Was it an axe?
It was an axe. The axe of literally the axe of kingship is there.
Ooh. Ooh,
That motherfucker-
distraction.
That was just my own curiosity.
Shiny?
It's the only one I would probably know of.
Yes. Well, you know the hammer.
I don't know. I know the hammer.
Yeah, more like a fight or flight response to seeing that. To be fair, that's natural. King, after maybe like 10 seconds, not even counting it, you just see there's a young human steps out towards you. He's got this silver garment on, a long robe with these sleeves that have been twisted and tied in so that they're not billowing wide sleeves. They're actually tied up to fit it into his form. With two yellow eyes, and like his hair is shock white. Offers out a hand to you, and you go into the dance with them. Now back into Lo and Renara. What are you doing?
If I'm approached, I will accept the dance from Lo or anyone else.
Okay.
I'm waiting for him.
Well, that was what I was going to say, was that Lo will approach and say, "May I take this dance? Count to 3.
Okay.
One,
Loyalty,
two,
make a
three,
performance
1, 2,
check.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Loyalty, make a performance check with advantage as you're leading and you're getting help from Renara to keep around the lady in white.
Have to do a sneaky guidance.
You can definitely do a sneaky guidance. I mean, you're right next to them.
Guidance. Like you need it.
Well, roll for guidance anyway.
D4.
23. A very respectable number still.
I can just imagine Lois trying to guide Runara in like a Viennese waltz, just like wah.
So
No, it's
then.
spinning, more spinning.
So then, as you continue, you're dancing, you make your way, holding Renara. It's one of those things of, Renara, you're not really taught in the dance anyway. Like, let's be honest, it's mostly just like Irish dancing equivalent for dwarves. So, you're learning on the fly with Lo, whilst also more or less dancing around these either like very large or tall people, just like swinging and like twisting about with them. You're more focused on each other, keeping each other together as you go with the dance to keep closer and closer. And eventually you look across, and there you see this relatively low-born looking genie, the one that had spilled on, definitely not an individual who you shouldn't spill wine on, but he did, being approached by the lady in white. And he just, if you could have fallen to the floor in a bow, he did, before pulling straight back up and offering out a hand. And they begin dancing. And there's a moment where you guys are watching, you're close to them, but everyone else begins spreading away from them, as if they're giving them space, like everyone else is stopping to watch. And you can just see they begin dancing, but neither of them are casting any spells. And just you see them dancing up and up into the air. And Kika, you, as this moment is passing, because there's been a bit of time, you're clocking out, you can now see a very young-looking Samoshi
I figured.
doing the first sky dance.
Sky dancing.
And the purpose of it is that it's almost like one of them cannot fly and the other one is being gracefully guiding them through the steps as if they were. He's got his arms just underneath her elbows on both sides, holding her, and we all know there's like a particular kind of strong man idea where if they just hold someone, it's like they could hold them for hours without issue. Like a ballet dancer who you can rely on holding up their hand and holding someone up at their like toe tip with no issue, no strain or nothing to the arm. It is quite literally like it's a statue holding. Just holding like that, but at the same time, they're laughing. And you can tell like there's a moment of enjoyment that then just comes into a more boisterous. And you can see outside riders again. Night, dawn, and the midday. Again and again. Wine is being emptied and the drinks are being poured and then refilled and poured. And you guys are watching. It's almost like a tide of food and people leaving and coming and going, and so many individuals. These two still dance. And they're spinning, and it eventually comes to, on the fourth night, they land back down and go to a bow. And it is just an applause from all that are around as they are close to each other, face to face almost, forehead near to forehead, sweat pouring down their brows. And they're just breathing heavy as they are laughing and laughing to each other. And I want a perception check with advantage from either Lo or Runara. Your choices. One of you gets
Up
it.
to you, my dude.
What's your
You
perception?
probably have it higher than me.
It's a 4. Plus 4. Go on. You took the pool match, I'll take this.
Yeah, I have a +2, so you go.
Oh, there you go.
I see all things.
Yes, you do see things, Runara. You can see as the two figures step back and they bow down low. And quite literally from the opposite side, as they split apart, you can now see on the other side, there is the onyx-skinned individual. With snake-like eyes, watching the whole thing. And he has not taken his eyes off of it for 4 days. He has not moved, he has not danced, he has watched. Arms folded, just watching.
When you say onyx skin individual,
I mean, like, quite literally, like, their skin is as if it were the material of onyx.
right.
Like, that kind of, almost like, shimmering style, like, black color to it. Skin is gorgeous, by the way, immaculate. There isn't a scar or scratch.
I'll just. Are we still dancing, or is the dancing stopped?
The dancing has stopped.
As the dance finishes, I'll give like Laura a hug and just lean in and be like, oh, "That person's like really watching to dance, like really watching."
Mm-hmm.
No, I know. I think there's some kind of bodyguard.
Maybe. I don't know. Keep an eye on that person.
Yes.
Whatever happens going forward, keep a close eye.
Once they like, once
Wait,
the two
keep your heel
stop
down.
and once the two step and move away from each other, he turns and like walks away from them. And once he does, you can just see the shimmer of his halo behind him.
Then he's walking away.
He's stepping away now that they are.
I'm gonna. If he's like walking away, I'll follow him. But keep an eye on him.
He's staying near the crowd, but he's stepping towards the side more.
Is there another dance starting, or is the dance
It
all
seems
done?
like the dancing is finished. The ball is nearly over. Is there anything anyone wants to try and do?
I imagine I'll be making pleasantries with various people, learning names, introductions, etc.
Anubis, shut the fuck up!
Oh, he's not allowed to come to parties that often.
Oh, Anubis is here.
Either that or it's Fenrir.
Oh.
Let's hope it's Anubis.
He also isn't allowed to parties very often.
Yes, but
And
he's
the-
allowed for other reasons.
Which is Anubis' true name.
There's something I want to do.
There's something you want to do.
Can I go grab like a glass of wine or like a drink off of a table?
Mm-hmm.
Just take a slow stroll over past where this haloed obsidian onyxy guy is. Sorry,
Yeah.
onyxy guy. And before I get there, I'll cast guidance on myself, and I will trip at his feet.
A fair note to make as well, because you have a decent perception. Whilst he was watching them, he's the only person in the room who is aware of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and like
As
try
you
it out.
begin to trip, as you almost like, quite literally, let's call it like, say, if it's an animation, the first 3 frames of your trip, hands already out, caught you. And it's one of those grips of, oh, this is like a pneumatic press, it could crush me. Oh, but it's not gripping you with force, it's more of a hold. You haven't spilled a drop. And he more or less just puts you back.
In celestial. Oh, thank you. Sorry, thank you.
It's not becoming of you to be messy here. I'm also fully aware you weren't invited.
I'm just so clumsy. What, invited?
As you like look down as you were saying that, and he's just and you look back up, he's immediately turned around. He's probably a good 4 foot taller than you, and he is crouched down. Yeah, Blue, you're getting Delmara Galgaron vibes. Of, oh, you're that kind of motherfucker.
Ah.
Like, hello, creature. How are you?
Hello, tiny person. I'm 6 foot. You're still tiny.
To this kind of person, you're very tiny. And he's
That's the
leaned
boy, I'll
down.
stand on a chair and bite your ankles.
He leans down to you, and you feel like there's a pressure to your back where it's like, you're not walking away right now. You weren't invited. Just
What's it not?
dour expression, no humor, no smirk,
Is
all
he
business.
celestial as well, by the way, or is he talking common?
Whatever he is speaking, you understand it.
But I don't know what. But can I tell what language he is speaking, or is it just?
He is opening his mouth and you understand what he says.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know it was invitation only. I'll just leave then.
Why should I let you leave my house?
Oh, this is your house. Oh.
You also didn't leave your weapons at the door.
I mean, okay, well, you can take it. I'll give him my hand axe. You can have it.
He just puts his
Oh, it's
hand
a mace,
over
sorry,
it.
mace.
He puts his hand over it, and it just melts.
But it wasn't.
Less melts,
and
more evaporates.
didn't want that anyway. So I didn't get your name. Sorry.
You didn't give me yours. One of us should know the name of the other.
Oh, I mean, I did ask first, because I think it's courtesy.
You're currently at best an intruder in my house. Your name.
Yeah,
Now.
I mean,
Make a charisma saving throw.
yeah,
Blue, I think you know what's happened.
Oh, that's a 16.
We sweating. We sweating.
I don't even know why I really
None of the memes that are being exchanged are good.
I don't even know why I really made you make a saving throw. You would never have beaten it.
God. You know, Das, the moment you went to start doing that.
I know, I saw your message.
Yeah, this guy outside is literally lightning now, and doom, and I was like,
Yeah.
Why can't I get that for saying? Damn it!
There's
Fucking get on your shit!
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Um,
I made Fog come in for Kurth Strahd.
Oh, that's
So-
true. That did happen.
Runara, you
Uh-huh.
feel like you're trying not to say your name, But every time you try to say anything other than your name, the words are quite literally caught in your throat. And I will say, everything else starts going to black and gray, except for you guys and this individual. And you are now all fully aware he is just in front and top of Renara, asking these questions.
Suppose I'll walk over.
Have you put away anything that you have, King? Or left anything at the door?
No, I only have my dagger, which I keep in my abdomen.
And other unique things you say in D&D.
It's in its sheath.
You start feeling as if, Renara, there's almost like it's like bile in your throat that there's like a natural urge to say your name. And just, it comes up like you're fighting it and it just, you say your name. Well, that's who you are. Well, you're definitely not invited, Angel Blood.
Huh?
Welcome to the house of Asmodeus.
What's that name ring a bell?
Yep.
Wow.
Do I know the name Asmodeus?
You know full well who the fuck Asmodeus is! You're not looking at the fact.
Lucifer.
Hello, have you heard of my Lord and Savior Lucifer?
Let's get this across. I know.
You know, and Renara goes, and you just like, you're just stood there now internally going, ah! You're literally standing in front of Satan.
Uh-huh.
Well, before he fell.
Asmodeus, it's very nice to meet you.
You are a curious individual. You know a lot more about me than I even think I know about me.
I don't know much about you at all.
Make a deception check.
Brave.
I'm going to walk over to the weapons.
I'll roll that guidance I've got.
Oh yeah, that'll do good.
Oh, he didn't totally believe you. Sorry, what were you saying, Widdick?
I'm just gonna walk over to where all the weapons are and just kind of go. Well, I just seen him just evaporate that one, so I'm
You leave your sword over.
put it up on that. There we
Lo will very, very slowly back up on one of the tables and then just try and hide his 4 daggers under the tablecloth as quickly as he can.
His spear is in its demi-plane, it's just...
Yeah. You have the beauty of saying, it's not here right now.
Oh yeah, wait. Bag. It's already probably in the bag. Actually, now that I think about it, that's where that's my holster now.
You are Mary Poppins with a great sword.
Yeah. Shink.
It's a bit of a mixed bag for me, because nobody asked to check my weapons. It's also generally considered poor form to remove a item from within between your large intestines in the middle of a ball.
I'm sure he'll happily remove it for you.
I'm gonna try shuffle over to
I
Woody
suppose.
and just be like handing him my quarterstaff, like, can you like put this away?
He's still got a hold of me, right?
Oh, he doesn't have a hand on you. But you feel like you're not moving.
Yeah, like I say, I'll just be going.
I have questions. You've spent a lot of time at my ball.
It was a wonderful dance.
You did quite well yourself, young lady.
Cute.
Also, I do like the fact I've got a candle here, so you can just see the flicker of it in my eyes. Hang on, I'm moving it.
Okay, here we go.
That's one. Very spoopy.
I can't laugh too hard because if I do, I'll blow it out. So then, why don't you start talking for telling me why you're here.
Why I'm here?
Why are you here?
I came here with a friend of mine.
Why? That's how you came here, not why you came here.
Because they needed my help.
Doing what?
King will inevitably remove the blade and give it to Cat to check at the door.
They're looking for someone. They're trying to find out someone's like they're looking for someone.
Lo will step forward, but sort of bow more, keep the head down.
Renara, this
Very,
is
very
gross as
much.
fuck when it happens, but as Loyalty steps forward and you bow so low, he's looking at you with his right eye. Left eye shoots right over to him.
That's a little creepy.
Probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I wanted to say that word.
King, meanwhile,
I'm
is
sorry
looking
to.
at making sure organs are in the right configuration.
King, we get it.
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir. But I feel as if.
I'm curious. Oh, sorry. Galgron sent me a message.
I wasn't gonna say anything. That's spook.
Fuck's sake, no, I'm not helping him with Tiamat and Bahamut again. They have their own disputes.
Can I move at all? Like, my arms are stuck, or like...
Your
I just can't
arms
walk
are
away?
free to move, but...
I just feel
under
like
the
I
hip,
can't
you ain't
walk away.
going nowhere. Sorry, you were saying something anyway, Lo.
I will be honest with you, sir.
Smart.
That my colleague here has no responsibility in this. I'm the reason why they're here. And
Honesty and manners. Renara, you can move again. And he's now just like, in that moment of you looking to Renara, she's like steps slightly. He is right next to you. And he's not bowed down, he's looking... He's not looking down his nose at you, but he's looking down at you.
so, forgive my bluntness, but hey, ask away.
Why are you here?
Do you want the flamboyant answer or the truth?
Kind of the same.
Give me the answer, Felix.
To improve myself.
Make a persuasion check. Yes, the Lady Red was in fact dancing with the devil. And when you dance with the devil, you lead.
Persuasion?
Persuasion, honey.
Sorry, that's with advantage. You can
No,
take
it's
the first
fine. You
roll.
rolled a 13 anyway. I always take the first roll whenever it happens like that.
I'm sorry.
You're
My
fine.
my fault.
You're fine. No harm done. So, to improve yourself. Very broad term. Why would you need to improve yourself then?
I
Also, he's
Um,
blinking, but he's blinking that way, not this way. So he's blinking like that.
I'm not sure you've met her yet, but you might know of the lady in pink.
I know no one by that title.
Oh, that's probably a good thing then. um, yeah, I came here looking for, answers to, well, the lady in pink may have ensnared me. An
unhealthy practice.
And may have made me do some questionable things which I can't remember. And
So you have been enslaved.
yeah.
With no deal, no agreement on your half, just taken.
Well, that's the complicated bit.
I'm not quite sure. The lack of
No.
memory alone is more than enough to indicate that she does not want you to know. But I am not one to allow that manner of behavior to be taken out. Deals are made, and deals should be respected by both parties. If she is just taking you, or she has broken her deals, either way, she should have no right to you. Which implies you're not here to absolve yourself with her. You're here to find someone else to agree with. Now, who could that be?
Yeah, one pigment up.
Red? I know not anyone by a lady in red either.
Kika's
well,
like there and she's just like,
We're like the audience on like The Price is Right. Flower!
May not be so much red, but like absence of pigment, like light.
A lady in light?
Change the L for a W.
You are quite a person for going about a roundabout way to simply say the lady in white.
Yeah.
Now, why do you
That's
have
what-
any dealing with her? And there's a sudden protectiveness to his tone.
Well, I may have had an invitation from her later self, hence the red.
You can see there's a moment where he's just stood back, and he looks around to all of you. There's a moment where he just reaches the side of his forehead, and you can just see he begins pulling, like as if from just the tip of his finger, something is pulling from his forehead. A small golden disc, which then floats about, and it taps each one of you on the forehead once. Ding, 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 ding.
Try and swat it away.
Ding. It actually does nothing to you, Renara, because your protection from good and evil is still up. And then it goes right back to him. And there's a moment of clairvoyance, where he seems to be simultaneously gathering a lot of information at once. And he steps back. He steps away. And he just seems to be lost in a thought. So that's how it ends. He takes a deep breath before turning back to you. What do you require from this one day to be Lady in Red?
Sorry. Sorry, I'm just getting blue jumping.
I'm really
okay,
tense right
hang on.
now, and random noises aren't helping.
I'm sorry.
What did she offer you?
Forgive me for asking, but you picked up on the lady in pink, or maybe you didn't, or...
I've picked up on quite a lot from what I gleaned from each of you. I now know a lot about what will happen to me, and to this world, and to every single plane. And if I do not carry out my course as I intend, should I attempt to change my course for my own benefit, it could lead to catastrophic destruction. And I must carry out what I intended to do long ago, and what I intend to do in the very short future for myself. What will be for you? Millennia.
Well then, I guess we're here for a name.
Her name. That I cannot give you. For I have made a deal to keep that quiet.
Yeah, I truth be told, sir, I wasn't going to force it out of you.
You wouldn't have been able to, but I admire the courtesy. But you can do something if I understand how your game and your play is currently going. Take a prop of hers to the next scene. And good luck, children. I hope in your time you never have to meet me. But I won't forget you. Be that ominous or gentile, take it as you will.
A really, really random, kind of abstract thinking kind of question. Does Lo feel anything from Asmodeus because of the tiefling blood?
Me and girls mentioned this.
We were just thinking
While
about
he's
that.
very aware of the fact you have fiendish blood in you, very well aware of the fact that this is currently a hallowed ground where no blood should be spilled. However, you feel no tie to this Asmodeus. He's yet to fall to have that kind of effect on you.
Right.
And as he steps away from you, he darkens and fades.
I was going to do something, but I didn't want to interrupt.
I know, that's why I said no. No talking to Asmodeus for you.
And I want
I
to
don't-
say hi.
I don't trust you with Asmodeus.
No! That is too much
Okay.
lore in one place.
Shit. Ah.
Oh, that was scary.
That was a fun excursion into the private chat, being
Oh,
like,
your drink.
Yeah.
Safe?
Well,
Safe?
No, I didn't. I blew up my
Pretty
candle,
cool.
and my candle
Oh.
went up on the screen.
Oh,
Oh,
No.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. We got it.
All right, all right.
Yeah,
got it, Reddit.
don't have the candles next to the computer again.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But it was just a case of I gotta get this off right away
Yeah.
while it's still soft and warm, because otherwise, God fucking help me. Yeah, it's good.
So, Asmodeus seems cool.
Is Runara on the ground at all?
She's standing on the ground, but she's not fallen to the ground.
Just like 5 foot away.
She's close to you, but she's not on the ground. Well, aside from standing.
Low will approach and sort of kind of do like a chummy elbow to the side, but what he's actually doing is sort of using the elbow to the side to creep in and go, no one gets hurt because of what I'm doing, okay?
Yeah.
But then you need to remember you're talking to Krauser.
I mean, we're here to help. Getting hurt might sometimes happen.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, go get hurt by Asmodeus. See how well it turns out for you.
Whoever's closest to Kika, she's gonna go over and hug, literally just to comfort herself, because she's just like...
It's gonna be me. 'Cause I'm pretty sure... Saren has put you next to me. Just...
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like, ah!
Yeah, Posy's gonna go have a freak out in a little corner away from everyone else.
Everybody gets their own little baggie.
I don't know what you're talking about, guys. That was a lovely session and encounter.
I'm going to address the party then. King will say to them all, 2 soldiers were lost in a desert. They were starving to death. One of them, however, called out in excitement as he claimed he had discovered a bacon tree. We are saved, he proclaimed, as he approached the plant. He was then shot full of arrows. For you see, he had misidentified the plant. It was in fact a ham bush.
Oh my god, that setup was a journey! I was like, where is this going?
That was brilliant.
So is everyone okay with Asmodeus choming back in just to kill him?
No. Nope.
How invested.
I'm going
What's in
to
the
look around
story?
the room for anything that may have a brighter nature
Make
to
an
it.
investigation check, sir.
Thank you.
In the meantime, Lo will sort of side-eye Runara and go, I got a weird idea.
I got
And
it.
he will try...
Fuck you.
I'll finish mine later then. Go ahead.
No, good.
All I was going to say was Lo was going to try and find one of those metal serving trays, dust himself off, and then take the serving tray and basically pretend to be a waiter, and sort of head in the direction where the lady in white and Samoshi were going.
Well, we've all faded to black, so be aware of that now. Scene is ended, but you can make your way if you want to.
Never mind if that's the case. That's
Okay.
my fault for not paying
You're okay.
attention.
Yeah, and Asmodeus was the last actor on set.
My guinea pigs come to visit us.
Wee! Squealy baby!
Friend.
So, Wittick,
Yes.
you're like, props. And you turn to the row of massive fucking weapons.
Is it the weapon that I recognize?
No.
Oh, good. I'm glad that one's not.
Good
That's
luck
fine.
moving that to the next set.
Hello! Boom!
Who's got a really big watermelon?
Oh, I'm sorry. My brain just went to a very film-esque joke, but it's Wittig holding one of these big hammers, and it's a giant gong, and just like
Novelty hammer.
dong, and scene.
Anyway.
You look at the massive array of weapons, and you presume it might be something in here.
Gonna go start going through it like coats. No, that doesn't look right for her. No.
I will also assume we all pick up our own weapons.
You can also pick up your own weapons.
Can I go find a new mace?
Your old mace is there.
Okay, I'll go take it. I'll never use it, but I'll take it.
If that's the case, then Law will very quickly try and stick the daggers back into his coat.
Yeah.
But he forgets one, then sort of stands there, puts a finger up, spins around, and then picks up the fourth.
Got it. So, you look to the array of weapons, Wittick. What weapon do you think belongs to her?
Okay,
Or better yet, who can remember what was listed?
So there's giant warhammer, which that wouldn't be it because that would be for a certain somebody that I don't want to talk about right now.
You definitely know that one's not for him. Her.
Yeah.
Wait. Never mind. This is Narrowin's.
Are you asking me something, Kika, or are you raising that in character?
Well, I'm gonna wait to see if Finneran can think of. Basically, if he isn't sure, I think I know about character.
I have an idea myself, but it's whether or not Narrowin wants this. If this is Narrowin's thing, or
Well,
you know what I mean. I'm yeah.
Because there was. I think you mentioned a spear, right?
There is a spear amongst them. It's a very ornate and gaudy spear, though.
So yeah, no, that would be it.
What you do tend to find when you're looking through the weapons is that the older the weapons are, the simpler the design is.
Being Fae and everything, that's probably more what you would be doing, is more simple. Because again, it's a case of the fucking Holy Grail. It's an actual wooden cup. So
Okay.
it'd probably just be a simple weapon. Can't remember all the weapons. Damn it.
It's okay.
Ah!
I'll come forward and sort of nudge him a little bit and be like, "What about this one?" And I'll point at the red staff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably be that one.
As you reach for that staff, you
That
can
was
just
what
see
I was thinking
it
as
elongates
well.
out
But
into this massive thing, and there's a monkey at the top of the staff who picks it back up, goes, "Mate," and it shoots back up to him before fading into black. That weapon is not the correct one.
Ah.
You try to
Oh,
take
yeah, I
both
guess
stuff on
what
Sun
you mean,
Wukong. Yeah, so of course Sun Wukong will be at a fucking party of datings.
Oh.
Asshole.
okay then. And this. When I
did mention it, I will say this, I did mention it, but I mentioned something that
Yeah.
not really a weapon.
Yeah, which is where my brain was going. What will happen if Lo sort of spreads his hand out and he goes towards the pestle and mortar?
Well, there's only the pestle, not the mortar. The mortar is what you grind
Mhm.
something into. The pestle is there, though. And the pestle is about 6 foot long.
Mm-hmm. But do I get
Do you
I
wanna
get
try
a
and-
bit from it?
Are you going to try and lift up the pestle?
Yes.
It's heavy as fuck. So you might need help.
Wait,
Strong.
it'll help. It'll
But if
help.
you reach up and you grab the pestle,
No.
you lift it and you're holding it. And as the scene changes, you can just see it begins rapidly flooding past you. And many people walk past and take things from their points before leaving. And then you can eventually see the lady in white does leave with a lovely, beautiful genie by her side who is wielding a very gaudy looking spear.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was probably his.
Too many things are dangling off of it.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
And she then takes the pestle.
Okay.
Hey.
Fuck. All right.
But when it's literally quite the equivalent of, you know, where it's bullshit where you're focusing and like really trying to hard lifting the weight, and there's some other guy just picks it up like it's nothing, and it's almost offensive.
Thor.
Yeah.
Like,
Funnily enough, one of Thor's mythos, she really matches a character in it. Funnily enough. But yeah. And at this point, the scene is about to end. If you have a guess of a name, now's the time. Say it aloud if you're going to say it, honey. Don't message it to me.
But why though?
True, actually, there's a fair point. Message it to me then. Because Blue doesn't want anyone else to have this because he's hurting me.
I'm allowed to have my special thing.
How many times do you say that name?
God, are we going Beetlejuice theory?
I think it's always a
That's what
rule
we
of
got,
three.
really.
That's the rule, isn't it? It's the magic number.
Low, after... I presume Wittig is sort of there holding it as well, or is it
Yes,
just
well, it's been taken
disintegrated
away
now?
by the lady in white.
Yeah.
What is that?
No.
So Low sort of preps himself and sort of goes once, twice, 3 times a lady in white, and sort of says the name 3 times.
At this point, everything goes to black, and you see 2 doors. One leads to a theater, and the other one seems to lead out to just a white space. If you wish to see the final scene of this play, the 3rd act, you may. Or you can go, because you got it right.
Hey. I knew you
So
would.
it's a case of red pill or blue pill. One lady.
Would you like more lore, or would you like to
More
continue the plot? You encounter a
So-
lore dump!
So skip to the end? Oh,
Are you going straight to the credits, or...?
yeah. Skip to the end?
I'm kind of looking at the pamphlet like, I mean, there's a 3rd act in here. I mean, do we? I mean,
I mean, that's up to you.
I mean,
Are we go for a 3rd act or what?
This is your play.
Oh,
We're
no,
here
no,
for
no,
you.
this isn't my...
Well, we're
I
here.
mean,
We're
the
here
last
for you.
one was
so.
pretty dangerous, but sure.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, I got no problems as long as we don't have to fight those things again.
the quicklings. Yeah.
Treacherous quickly.
Long
Wait,
as
I'll
none of
look
that,
into the door for the 3rd
I'm
act. Is there any
fine.
quicklings in there?
I'm fine if you do.
Look,
As you
more.
look in the door, you fall through.
Sheet.
you gotta should we just cheat? You see the robotic legs
Well-
going in the door.
Posey just looks into the
Well-
camera like she's on the office.
And
Guess I'll
before
die.
that door expands out and just encompasses all of you, and you're all taken through. And then we're going to go to break.
Good, 'cause I need to pee.
Hey,
Tea time.
more water.
Need water! Need
Okay,
water!
there we
Go
go.
hydrate yourself, people.
Yeah.
Water!
So,
Water!
I
We also
don't
Welcome back, everyone, to a very lore-heavy session. The worst part about lore-heavy sessions, I have to remember everything I said. So then, Wittig, you were falling, and you feel like you're falling, and you begin spinning. As you're turning, you can hear that when the wind passes you by with the momentum of a swing, and your head is rattling as you do, and the sounds are reaching in your ear of the wind. It then starts turning to a sound with variance in it. Then it's the sound of a fight, the sound of a battle. And you look around, and there are beautiful trees, ancient, many stories high, wider than easily any creature you've ever seen in your life. All around you, of varying colors, of purples and blacks and greens, browns, bark and leaf, all changing in different colors, multitudes of them. As you're all there, you're at the bottom of a staircase that seems to go on for 100, 150 steps, 600 steps maybe. You're not sure, but you know it's a long climb. And you can see around you the bodies of the dead and dozens of fairy forts all around you. You follow the stairs, and every time now and then you'll see just this pool of mirror quality light liquid, or you'll see the remnants of clothes tattered and thrown away with this kind of faint breeze to it, or crushed rubble, or pools of magma. And you follow your way up. All the while there are more flowers than you could ever imagine around you on all sides. Even as you're going up what is stone steps, there are flowers everywhere. And then you begin hearing the close decree of the battle. You can see, with a long serpentine-like tail, a figure floating through the air, flying almost, with wings of these beautiful multicolored feathers, the entire spectrum of the rainbow, tip to tip, flying, before coming down with a massive greatsword. This onyx-skinned figure with snake-like eyes, and there are, where his blade struck, now 5 beds of flowers. You see another figure, her clothes now almost entirely drenched red with blood of herself. She drags up this massive pestle. As she does, she swings up, and another unfortunate fae is caught and crushed underneath as she twists it, ripping them apart until flowers begin blooming underneath her grind. There is no Samoshi. There's very few of the attackers left. But they're at the gates at the top of these steps. And at the far side of these gates, in this pale white garments and plate and armor, you see a figure with many people between him and them. The Lord in white. The figures all step and part, for the now 2 remaining. Standing there, bloodied, and you can see from Asmodeus, his blood is gold, from almost as if it is lava that is pouring from the cracks of earth, seeping down through the onyx-style skin of him. She is coated red. Her clothes are ruined. Her hair is matted. She's exhausted. He is exhausted. And the Lord waves but one hand and says a word in Sylvan, which those of you who are here say, banish. And he is gone. And he steps forward. Daughter, after everything I've given you, this is what you do. You assault the seemly court. To do what? To end me? That shall not be. And he steps forward. He is fresh. He hasn't been harmed. She's exhausted and bloodied. He raises up a hand and strikes her. And as he does, she falls low. You have nothing left of this plane. There is no one of your allies here. I've dealt with them all. It's just you, daughter. And you hear her begin speaking. And as she does, she's listing names. None of these names are names you are familiar with, and to your brain it is as if she's speaking 6 languages simultaneously, and each name is being picked up in it. You are my sons and daughters. Be you from here in the Fae, or be you born in the hells where we had to prepare. You are my sons and daughters, and I stand. Ruler of 2 planes, I command you through to this one. You are my subjects and servants, and I am never alone, Father. And as she says this, from behind her, tears begin ripping through, and you begin seeing hags stepping forward, of many different varieties. There are some who belong to the sea, those who belong to the swamp, those who belong to the Arctic North. Many of them begin stepping through. And then the sons step through, as arrows fly overhead towards this host that has arrived out. These massive figures in heavy red, black, or white garments, just cloaked. You cannot see their faces, but for 2 eyes of the appropriate color gleaming out, step forward and raise up their arms, and the arrows bounce harmlessly from them. But at the front, there are 3 more powerful, larger figures, one in black, one in white, and one in red. Each one reaches up behind them. 2 of them take out these clubs, heavy and beautifully ornate, whilst the one in the middle takes out, this is the one in black, a massive scythe. And around you there are nymphs and dryads begin coming up from the forest on all sides. And suddenly, she's not as alone as she just looked, and the Lord is without his guard. His forces rush to try and get to their Lord, but as they do, her forces rush them, and it is a bloodbath. Magic bounces off of the warriors harmlessly, and the hags that are behind, complemented with dryads and nymphs, overwhelm the court. But the Lord looks to this before looking back to his daughter, who has the pestle in hand, swings it, and with a bloody crack, you hear his knees shatter. But before he hits the ground, in a way you've seen once before, Kika, she reaches out a hand into his guts. Long and clawed, she lifts him up. That's too good for you. I will punish you a different way. You will see all the realms you wished once to claim. But now you will have access to all of them. But none of them will you ever rule. Always will you be just out of reach. And then that scene fades. And you begin smelling tea. Begin hearing it poured. And you look behind you. And there is the lady in red. Sitting there. She's poured a cup for each of you. And a cup for herself. I always liked that part myself. And she just sit there. Hello everyone. Dearie. Young Master Loyalty. You've learned my name, boy. And she just gives a little clap from her palm with the tip of 3 fingers. Just tap, tap, tap. Not condescending.
Respectable golf clap.
The golf clap. The respectable golf clap. Well done. Now I understand the sisters have explained to you that this would not be a permanent thing, but it would make whatever you have with her null and void. You've seen what I've had to go through in my life. I have been persecuted as a young lady. I have danced around and been passed about at court. And I have stood up to a tyrant who sought to use me to dominate many things. I've done those things. And should you encounter something similar in your time, I might need you to do something like that for me. Protect an innocent. Ensure that whatever happens at a court is above board. Stand up to a tyrant. But just remember, brawn isn't the only way to win. Sometimes you can make them overstretch their hand and take it off. So, boy, would you and your friends like to sit for tea?
If it may not inconvenience, my lady.
I've already got 7 cups poured. It'd inconvenience me if you didn't. The chairs are pushed out. Those who sit may.
Hell
I'll
yeah,
sit
I'll have
down.
drinks,
Just
Auntie.
walk
Fuck
past the chair and go in for the hug, and it's a
I'll
very
sit-
tight hug this time. She didn't say
I'll
anything.
sit down, but I will
it's-
not drink.
I'm just gonna stick the tea and just. Can I notice any taste from the tea at all?
It is a very, like, almost like biting a lemon in regards to, like, you know, the sour, like, ooh, that's strong sour. The opposite in regards to a sweet honey taste.
Oh,
For a,
And you
for a
rush
second
in,
there, I thought
and
that
there's
you were
just
describing lemon sherbet tea.
This sounds amazing.
something like that, but fade. And Kika, you just more or less fly in, boop, and she just hands her out, and she's just got you. Oh, my dearie. I'm sorry you had to see that, but you know a little bit more about me now.
Kika doesn't
Well-
say anything, basically. Anything that needs to be said is in the hug.
Yeah. And she's just stroking through your hair, almost in the kind of like, you know, like primming your hair kind of way.
Yeah.
Feathers, excuse me.
There is a slightly distressed sort of chirpy noise, just...
Now you know why I ask people to do things for me, dearie. I don't want others to have to go through what I did.
Wittig will sit down and go, well, I have no need for drink, but...
Wittig, you've never tasted anything in your life.
You still
But as
don't.
you put it in,
Aww.
but as you put the tea up, and you're just like, okay, well, I'll do what I always. It hits the bottom of your mouth, and suddenly, that's a taste. That's flavor. What is that? Your brain is trying to process what you're feeling and what you're sensing, and it's almost. You have this moment of confusion as you're there.
I want
It's
to be
in
a
your-
real boy.
Oh wow.
Well, listen, motherfucker, you start lying, I'm gonna make your nose get bigger.
I have no nose.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I'll get you one, motherfucker.
Wittick the Warforged, the only Warforged to ever have a nose.
To help smell your bullshit.
Don't tempt me, okay?
Don't tempt me, motherfucker.
How do you get it? Who knows?
Hey.
Kill him. Kill him now. And it's weird. Any one of you who sit, wherever you're sitting at the table, you're like, oh, I'll sit, 3 steps back. Let Wittig and Kika have the closer ones, or whatever way you sit. You're still sat right next to her. Even if you, sit down and you're at the far side of the table, you look up, you're right next to her. So you're somehow all simultaneously right next to her. And also not.
Lo hesitates.
I mean, you're in her lap, Kika.
Lo hesitates to sit at first, but he's watching Kika hug the lady in red very, very carefully, and his mind sort of reruns the whole belly dancing and she's my auntie and all of this, and watching it sort of very, very carefully, sort of looks to the ground, and he recalls sort of the things that the lady went through, and you can see his fur on his shoulders sort of, well, he's wearing a coat, you wouldn't, but you can sort of see...
The fur on the back of his neck stands up.
Yeah, the fur on the back of his neck sort of sticks up like he's about to growl or something, but then eases. And then approaches the table.
An arm reaches out and pulls him in.
Okay. Hi.
You're getting hugged as well, by the way. She's got big arms.
Yeah, the arm gives you around, the wing then comes around as well, just like, shh, just let it happen.
No, if he doesn't want to be hugged, it's okay, but there's always a hug here.
I'm good.
She pulls you in for a shoulder hug real quick.
I'm good.
And you have that realization of, I don't get hugged enough.
Kiki does the little sniffle and she just goes, he's my cousin, and if I want to hug him, I will.
Cousin. I have a cousin! Cousin! The ears just sort of shrink down. But he's trying to be the tough man, and he's trying to hold back the tears. But I have a cousin.
Kika's not.
I have a cousin.
So, dearies, I imagine some of you who aren't as familiar with me have questions.
Where'd you get this tea from?
Oh, I make it myself.
Serenus asking the real important questions.
He is, in fairness. I make it
Serenus'
myself from an
third eye's
extract
wide
of
fucking
a...
open.
It's an extract of a lily and a form of poppy from the Feywild, but because most of us can't sleep, it just has a really strong taste to it.
That's quite nice, actually. I really do enjoy it.
I have 2 questions.
Yes, little dearie.
Number 1, I drank that weird potion you gave me. It was just a normal potion.
It has the potential to do many things, but none of them harmful.
Okay, my second question, a little more direct to the point. Did you get it on with Asmodeus? Is what?
Asmodeus had aspirations, but I more see him like my grandson.
How
Don't worry, nothing happened.
You see him as your grandson. Now this brings up more questions. Number one.
I see most of you like nieces and nephews to give you an idea.
Number one, it looked like something was going on. And number two, that question gets elaborated because your grandson. Is he actually your grandson?
Well, that's what a lot of your mortal philosophers have wondered about for years. I can't give you all the answers now, can I? Otherwise, I either ruin their lives or I fulfill all their plots.
Right.
Lois
But I will
sort of
say
leaning in,
this.
and sort of just
Yeah,
going, drama,
I will say this
drama.
I will say this from my own perspective. He wishes.
Yeah, I think he does.
He can keep wishing.
Question as well. Another question on the back of that. In one of the scenes, we may have told Asmodeus a lot of information.
Oh, he's one of those entities that will always know.
Is that like because he is who he is, he'll know that now?
You didn't even really see him. You saw that scene's Asmodeus.
That scene's version of him, yes.
Correct.
So, but because that scene's version of him knows stuff, does him now
Oh, no.
know that same
Oh
stuff?
no. You stepped into a play. You saw actors.
So if I send him a message tomorrow, he won't be
He will
like,
know
"I'm
who
gonna
you
be-"
are because he's Asmodeus, and I would highly recommend you don't do that, dearie.
Oh no, I'm not going to send him a message. No, that would be very silly.
Mm-hmm.
Who here has counter spell? Who here has counter spell? You might keep an eye on
I
that
have to do
tomorrow.
I raised my good arm.
Renara, I would suggest not doing that, as the one you so much fawn over did the same thing and had a dragon as a bad connection, as I've been told. So it's not good to message people or spy on people.
Oh, you're referring to that time when... Oh.
Yes, Darren, yeah?
Oh,
Wait,
Darren. Darren was a very brave boy. He decided to try and scry on someone he really shouldn't have.
Oh, I'm not going to scry on anyone, just send a message.
Oh, that's probably just as worse.
Yes.
One implies that you're trying to spy on them. The other implies you have the right to call them. In both instances, neither of you had either.
Please don't bother the management, as an eternity in damnation often offends.
She just like starts patting the back of your head. Well, not for you, because he knows better.
Yeah,
And
that's
not for you either,
complicated.
because it's not complicated. It's called I walk in and go, no, not that one, and then it gets. It's happened a few times.
Okay, cool.
Not with you, dearie.
Cool.
Others.
Yeah, but
Just
Yeah,
kick it
the-
like.
Some warlocks are very ambitious, and while it's an admirable trait, it only gets you so far. But I have an obligation to those who are under me. Speaking of which, young Master Loyalty, and I do apologize, by
Yeah?
the way, for the fact they knew your name. That was more of a, if that was him in the moment, he would have known your true name.
Wait. Name.
Felix, your name. Your title is what you have as loyalty. That is your mark, more or less. But it's not... Oh, can someone pick up Snibbles? He's being so grumpy.
Name.
It's really just like a true polymorph Tarask she has as a cat.
Oh my god, a cat with spines.
Looks
Cat
just like Katie.
dinosaur. Cat
owns
dinosaur.
it?
Okay.
Who owns a cat that isn't a cat?
Yes.
This one's a gremlin.
Yes, your name, dearie. Whilst you've been away from me last time, I did a little digging. Names are important, and you deserve yours.
give me a second. I gotta catch up. Just sort of looking at the bug again, just sort of staring at it and seeing his face in the reflection of the tea.
You did look a little different back then, to what I understand. But Felix is your name, boy. You deserve your name. She gave you the title of loyalty. You decide who you are. If you wish to be loyalty, I will refer to you as such. If you would prefer Felix, I will refer to you as that. And there is the fair point to be made that you might not even trust that I am being honest with your name. You may choose a third.
How about a mix? Like Fidelity or Lolix? I like Lolix.
Lolix sounds like if you slurred while you're drunk, you're implying you're going to do something to someone.
Oh no!
As she said this, by the way, she covered Kika's ears.
Like Lolix, not like. Oh no, that's no.
Lois sort of just go. I'm keeping that one.
Keep that one, dearie.
I'm keeping that one. I love that one.
So then, my darlings, I understand from what I gather with my daughters that you did indeed have a bit of a debate on whether or not I could be trusted to be the patron for your dear friend. Whether or not it'd be a good idea to join back into a new treaty when you have a previous one. And to those who said it, and she is pointing to the likes of Posey, Runara, King. Very fair points, and it is wise to be cautious in this way. But I can say this. Deals are made to be very importantly just deals. That is something that both I and the Lord of the Nine Hells respect. Deals are important. Celestials tend to be a little bit more disregarding, and some Fae will trick the wording of it. I tend to be very straight with my wordings, and I don't tend to leave ambiguity, unless it is implied in the benefit of the person who is signing on with me.
A question, my lady.
Yes, dearie. Call me auntie.
Okay, you said that I had changed quite a bit.
Well, you're a tiefling. Tieflings are very... They're like sponges for the planes, especially those that aren't the more law-based ones. It's more of an organic adaptation to where you're at. Similar to how a person could go to a different place and get a tan. Just a little bit more extreme.
Yeah, about that, is there anything I should, prepare for?
Oh, you should have to prepare for nothing. But should you come into issue with her, if she tries anything again, all you've got to do is say my name 3 times, in a row, spoken unbroken. And I will either deal with it, or someone else will.
Oh, okay, I was more sort of saying, you know, like, I didn't have these before, and I certainly didn't have that.
Oh no, you had those before, but they weren't as antlery. You had your own look. Your tail was not like that of a thorned flower to the end. But much like a tan, if you spend time away, you tend to go back to what you were naturally. It's just a slow process.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Hmm.
Think I want to go back.
You think you want to, or you think you don't?
I don't think I do.
If you don't want to go back, stay as you are. You'll be surprised quite quickly how easy it is to be malleable with yourself. Especially when you have these. And she just like literally does the finger behind your ear trick, but pulls out a beautiful mask carved from a large, wide array of flowers, like as if you were to take a picture of a rose from its top down and carve out the space for a beautiful thin mask with eyes and a mouth point. Now it covers over covers your mask as well, because here we wear masks that cover your faces, kids.
Mouth and nose.
Yes, mouth and nose, from top to bottom. That's for your disguises, if you so choose. I did understand you lost your previous one. And listen, if the little skank does give you bother, you let me know, okay?
And Lois sort of tried to withhold a smirk at the sort of bluntness of it.
I know she's a dirty little skank. I'm fully aware of it. But I'm her senior, and I can say whatever I want. And that's the beauty of it. Speaking of beauties that I'm finding quite interesting right now, just give me a moment, Lo. And she just like more or less folds her leg and turns around to posing.
Hi.
Hello. You have a very unique look.
Yes, thank you.
I do like it as well. I'm quite curious though why you're so heavily modelled after one of my daughters.
Posey just like blinks. I don't know what you mean.
Well, and she just kind of snaps her finger, and as she does, she looks essentially exactly like Runara, just a little bit more Fae-styled herself. I know when someone does a mimicry, and snaps it back to her own form. If you want to find out more about her, I'd recommend you go visit a certain place, dearie. You might learn a little bit about yourself, too.
This better not be another weird vision quest where I meet Asmodeus.
Oh, you won't have to anyway, but also in fairness, when you do meet Asmodeus, if you're just polite, if you haven't snuck into his realm without permission, you're fine.
Yeah, I'd rather not. This is all a bit
Go to
above me.
Westbridge, dearie. Search for Westbridge, just south of Tribal. And head into the Crypt Garden Forest there. You might learn a thing or two about yourself. I don't like giving all the answers at once. But it's fair that you have the right to at least know that that's an avenue of observation.
What if I don't want to know?
If you don't want to know, dearie, that's entirely your right. I merely give you the option. It is a choice. Take it. You are respected regardless, because it is your choice to know what you will and want. I just don't like having beautiful young women not have every tool at the disposal.
I suppose thank you. I don't know what I'm thanking you for.
Let's just say I'm the gift of knowledge. Wittig, dearie, you're always quite a good one for that. Who's on his 4th cup, by the way, and just going,
So good.
I'm just gonna go back to looking at the table.
You're just like looking down, and as you do, you just feel like a finger just underneath your chin. Just lift your chin back up to look at her, but in that very soft, gentle touch.
Back.
Don't be afraid around the people you're here with. They're quite colourful as well.
Bit late for that,
It's never too late. Trust me, I know.
Shake my head and go back to being quiet.
I really need to get a flower crown like yours, though. It's gorgeous. Okay then, dearies. And she just looks about. I do believe there's only one thing to make certain of. It just extends out a hand to loyalty.
Does a little jump and almost spills the tea on himself. Yep. Oh, okay. That bit. Okay. Is this gonna hurt?
It's just a handshake.
Okay. Kika. He's got the hand on the other side. Okay.
His hand.
Okay. Okay.
And she shakes your hand, and it's a very gentle, delicate touch as she shakes hands with yours. And it's like a warmth. Like you've just drank a hot tea or an alcoholic drink, and that just warms your internal, like you have that sensation of warmth on the inside. And as you do, you feel a rush of magic back to you. Your skin just feels like you've lit up a bit. Welcome back to being a warlock.
Question. Change colour.
You have not changed colour, but you can if you want or will. You do have the disguise self ability, dearie.
Forgive me, but you know what I mean. Okay.
You haven't changed any colour, dearie. Unless you wanted to go to a bit more deeper red. I do like that colour myself.
Forgive me, Auntie. But I think I've only just gotten used to this.
That's quite alright then, dearie. Don't you fret.
Yeah, do you know something? I kind of envy your ability to walk in heels. I mean, I've only just had a couple of days on mine.
Heels, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe.
Cool. He's referring to his hooves, by the way.
He's all toe.
No, he's more saying he's used to that, but he's more that now.
Well, if you wanted to be less hooved and more footed, it's very easy for you to do if you want.
Yeah, just as I said, only just gotten used to this. Okay.
Well, that's the beauty of what you're able to do. You can alter yourself to be whatever way you like. But most importantly, dearie, be the way you like, not what anyone else likes. Be your own beautiful self. And like a shining sun, all the flowers will open to you. But make no flower open you. Now, my darlings.
Auntie?
Yes.
Can I hug you?
Give me a dearie. Pulls you in. And she is much bigger than you, but it is just, it's like, you have not had a motherly hug. You don't remember your last one, but you feel it. That soft, close, protective feeling is wrapped around you gently. And for that brief moment, you don't want this hug to end, because you have that security right now. You know you feel safe. But she slowly moves the hands away. Now then, dearies. Back to the road for you, perhaps. I do know you still have things to do. I love you all quite a lot. And as she says this, without even like an indication, Kiki, you in your head, you're the most. keep care of each other. You're some of the few people you can all rely on, to your own degrees. And I will say this to you, as she's pointing towards King. You might want to look at the individuals who are known as the Harpers. One of their Archmagi is very proficient with necromancy. And he might know a thing or two when it comes to time. And how to prepare oneself against inner conflict. And as she says this, you all look down at the teas. They've all been tidied away and cleaned back into a tea set. Even the ones who weren't drank were drank. If not by you, by someone else. Probably would have drank everyone else's. Tea.
Are you having yours? No. You? No.
Literally me looking at like, hey, have you finished your drink? Hey, do you want that? No, I'll have it. I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
I bow my head and say, I thank you for the advice and the hospitality.
It is my pleasure, dearies. Good luck on the road. Stay warm. And always remember, there's plenty of fun to have on the road. Very few to take. And that's where we're going to end the session.
Yeah.
Yay! I'm gonna go pass out now. Night.
He is slowly accumulating more cousins. It is all going to plan.
Literally, me and Kay made the same meme at the same time of being like, wait, there's another cousin? Where does it go on the tree?
Like, we're the only ones not in this strange family they've got going on, and we literally said it at the same time.
Yeah.
You're next!
There's two of the party. I'm gonna work my way through all of you bitches. Okay, I'll end stream there then. Hopefully next week we won't be in the middle of a heatwave.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Please.
Bye.